Well, hello everyone. This is Mark Levesque. I'm with Forest Glory Ministries, and I was asked by John Washko to share a little bit about what's happening in the ministry and what we're doing with disciple making and launching movements of disciple makers, mostly in Africa. I just returned from Uganda in East Africa. We had a wonderful time there. Uganda is called the Pearl of Africa. It's a beautiful country. The people are warm, and it was just a wonderful trip. We had the opportunity to train pastors there and help them launch disciple-making movements out of their churches and in their community. We trained about 1,000 pastors and church leaders there in the city of Kampala in Uganda. That was the first time we've actually done a movement in a disciple-making movement in that country. Currently, we are in over 20 cities in 9 countries. We are seeing God do amazing things through the ministry. Our ministry model is kind of unique. We have pulled together 2 pieces of traditional ministry. One is the large Billy Graham type of crusade, where we preach to large numbers of people in large open air gatherings. That is not the main part of our mission. That is basically what we use to draw the churches together and create unity in the city. So it gives us an opportunity to bring hundreds of churches together. We work often with 200 to 500 churches in a city. And so we were told that we've been working with several hundred churches in the city of Kampala in Uganda just this last week. But what we do is we use the festival or crusade to gather together the various churches in the community. And then they give us the opportunity to train their leaders in something called Training to Trainers, or T4T. And that's a disciple making program. And basically we have simplified the model so that it's very easy to use. And it's only like a 19-page manual. And churches have been seeing explosive growth with this. We began this process of combining these 2 models together in one. And in 2015, October of 2015, when we trained 165 disciple makers in a city in Rwanda. And in just 2 months, it grew to 2,500. And then about 6 months later, it grew to 8,000 and then 20,000 disciple makers in that city. And what we began to see was remarkable. We began to see, the mayor of the city told me that, I don't know what you guys are doing, but keep doing it, because the jail is empty. We're able to stay out later at night. Things have gotten much safer. Alcohol consumption's down and people are going back to work. The bars are closing. So we were seeing that. Then it spread to Tanzania, where they ended up having 40,000 disciple makers in a city there. A member of parliament told me that they're so excited because there's such peace in the city. Then it spread to the Democratic Republic of the Congo, where we have over 2 million people have come to Christ there. And there's over 1 million people in Training for Trainer groups, small disciple making groups in the city. We literally had a commanding General Mwanza, in one of the main cities in Eastern Congo, say that Jesus was cleaning up his city because of the work of Training for Trainers. Then it spread to Nigeria, where we now have over 2 million people have come to Christ, and there's over 1 million people in groups there, and we're seeing transformation in the cities there. And so it continues to grow. And so I sent you a video earlier in the week, and if you had a chance to see it at the end, it says that in 2024, there were 4 million people who come to Christ through our ministry. But since then, it's now over 9 million. And then we had over 2 million people in groups, T4T groups in Africa. It's now over 5 million in groups. So it's growing dramatically. And we're getting stories from pastors that's so exciting. One pastor who had a large church in a city in Nigeria, he felt like he had everything together. He didn't need Training for Trainers, T4T. And he had a dream one night, and the Lord spoke to him, and he saw a hand coming down from heaven. And the Lord said to him, "This hand is T4T. You need to embrace my hand." And so the pastor, who had 1,000 members in his church, started doing Training for Trainers. And the next thing he knew is that his church had grown to 2,000 people. And the number of small groups they had in their church doubled as well. So he was very excited. We've seen churches grow. One pastor was telling me back in 2018 in the DR Congo, in his city there, in Bukavu, which currently has had rebels there in his city. But what he only had 70 members in his church in 2018. He started doing T4T. He now has over 600 members in his church, and he has 11 churches under his church. We're seeing how people's lives are, and the way that they look at Christianity's changed. One pastor said he had a lot of complaining and gossip going on in his church, and when he started doing T4T, it all dissipated, because when he got his members involved in the ministry, leading small groups, prayer walking in the communities, leading people to Christ, they're so focused now on the people they have to disciple, they don't have time to complain about things that are happening in the church, like the color of the carpet or the chairs, or who's in what group. They're all so busy furthering the kingdom, they no longer have time to gossip and complain. And so it's smoothed out the churches. I've had pastors tell me, I don't know what you've done with this person or done with that person, but they're so different. They never used to give to the church. Now they're giving. They never used to participate or help out or serve. Now they're doing that. And it's all because they've had now a taste of ministry. Because what this ministry does is we help pastors equip their people for the ministry. And we do it in a way where they don't feel like they have to go to years or months or years of training. They just take this small manual. They just learn how to share with other people, invite them to a small group. They get discipled. It's so simple yet profound in its effect. And so thank you for the opportunity to share what's been happening through For His Glory Ministries, what we're seeing happen in churches and how they're being revitalized. And it's nothing new. We're just rediscovering the things Jesus taught his disciples and what his disciples taught others. And so thank you for this opportunity. Again, this is Mark Levesque from For His Glory Ministries. I hope you have a wonderful day.